What is up, everybody? Good to see you. It's me, Kev. Happy Friday to you. Here on Facebook and YouTube. Appreciate everybody stopping what you're doing for a minute, saying hello. Tell me where you are today. If you happen upon me in real time, I'd love to know where you are. Where are you stationed currently, and how's it going? It's going well here. I want to tell you a little bit today about a live in-person event I'm doing in September. That is all about how freelancers, particularly freelance copywriters, can start to sell their knowledge in new ways. If you want to know more about the event, it's at copychief.com/Knoxville, which is where we're doing it, Knoxville, Tennessee. Why Knoxville? Why not Knoxville? That's what I say. Why not Knoxville? That should be their slogan. Why not Knoxville? It's cute. It's in the mountains. It's hip. Knoxville is really coming on as a force in the entrepreneurial world. It's very supportive of entrepreneurs. My integrator, Rachel Mazza, my partner in the business, moved to Knoxville a few months back and has already bought two properties there. She's very interested in real estate investing, and so she's fixing up some properties that she's going to be renting out. And it's just a cool town. I used to play Knoxville as a comic, but I never. The club we worked in was in some hotel, like I don't know, Ramada or something, off the highway, and so I never really went downtown in Knoxville. But I always had a great time playing there. So we're excited to do it there. Plus, we get to take over the town. This is why I like doing small in-person events in smaller towns, because you kind of feel like you own the joint, right? It's really fun. I remember the first event I ever spoke at was with my buddy Ryan Lee, the SAM event, the legendary SAM event, sales, advertising, and marketing. Get it? See what they did there? Not Ted, Sam, different guy. And it was in Park City, Utah, which was a blast. And it was the last week of like tourist season, and it just felt like we owned the joint. A lot of the places were like shutting down for the season the following week, and it was just a blast. Love doing them here in St. Pete, Florida, because same reason. It's a growing fast kind of town, but we still get to take over restaurants and bars and things like that. And it'll be very much that way in Knoxville. We get a lot of fun stuff planned. So beyond the fun, what are we doing here in Knoxville? It is all about, listen, I coach a lot of freelancers. That's my passion, right? Like I love freelancers. I love how courageous it is to decide to start your own business, to be entrepreneurial, to decide you don't fit in any kind of box that society sort of grooms us to slot into. Some people that works out great. I got no judgment if following a traditional path of life, you school, you more school, you work, you stop working, hopefully you have some money left over, and then you die. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. However, a certain smaller percent of us humans, particularly here in the United States, decide we want a different path, and we figure out a way to go it alone. We say, I'm going to develop some kind of skill that people will pay me for, that I enjoy doing and am particularly good at, and I am going to make a living doing that. And it's very exciting. I find it very courageous. And anymore, you look around, right? The Great Resignation. What are they predicting? 45% of U.S. workers will be remote, at least, if not completely freelance, running their own, selling their skill as a business by 2025 or 2030 or something. And it's not surprising. We know that is what the event, let's call it, of the last couple of years, because if I say it a different way, I'll get blocked. did for us. People are not going back to work because having all that time to be home made them realize the way they were living was kind of bullshit for them. It wasn't working out. So how do we do this then? Here's the amazing thing about being a freelancer, in my estimation, why it is the greatest thing once you get in the groove of it. Think about this. How many sort of industries or jobs or specialties can you, number one, learn on your client's dime, right? You're literally getting paid to learn on projects. You get to learn about yourself. How do I work best? How do I stay inspired? How do I turn off the noise so I can get work done? How do I communicate with my clients? All those things that you get better at as you go and you continue learning and you optimize. And then you get to so now you're in the groove and you're getting paid well and you're doing work hopefully that satisfies you, and you are not only growing revenue, you're growing knowledge and experience and wisdom, right? So the longer you do it, the better it gets, both in regards to the kind of clients you work with and in what the value you have. And it's kind of a shame when I see freelancers who reach a certain level not sell their services better. Now, that doesn't mean you have to create a standalone product or have some kind of risky business venture. But man, there are ways to package up your knowledge, your wisdom, and scale your business without having to do more work, right? You don't want to be stuck in this cycle of, okay, well, I've got all this knowledge and I'm connected and I'll never probably want for clients, but it's still, I'm stuck in, if I'm not actually there present doing the work, I'm not getting paid. That's a problem. That was a problem I had for, I would say at least the last 4 years of my freelancing career. I would get to the end of the year. I would, look at the books and sort of review how things went. And this, it was sort of the same conversation every year. It was like, okay, great. Another amazing year financially. My clients, I love working with. I'm only working with clients I want to work with that meet the criteria. So we're having a lot of success together. But I can't scale this very much more, right? I have a scalability issue. And the phrase I would always say to myself, I'd say, I got to get my own thing going. That's how I thought about it. I got to get my own thing going, which meant, but I didn't know what do I do? I toyed with having little offers here and there. I had done Warrior Special of the Day. Anybody remember those? Way back in the day, little like, $7, $27, what would be known now as a front end product, a low ticket product. And it was very exciting to see those sell, but it wasn't changing my, wasn't earning its place onto my calendar, right? It was just a little extra pocket jingle. But what an exciting feeling when you get those first few sales coming in on something you basically sold your knowledge and packaged it up, and you see money coming in passively. That it's an incredible feeling. But it wasn't until I started Copy Chief that I really had a business model that I could leverage and scale, right? And that still took me a while to do. Point is, I didn't know what it looked like. I would have that conversation, and you may be in the same place. Like, okay, I need to, I need to do something more here, because look, life events happen. It's funny. Hey Jay, good to see you. Simple coaching program for newcomers. Is that a question? I'm not sure. My son is in the next room enjoying Seinfeld. He's become a Seinfeld fan. And he is laid up today because he sprained his ankle last night playing football. And we're headed to Chicago on Tuesday for vacation. And so this is going to probably affect, how he gets around and those kinds of things, which is fine, right? That's a kind of a good scenario because he basically has nothing important to do, right? But it's just, it goes to show, like he's a musician. So if he had a big show, say tomorrow, this would be an issue. He'd be in a Dave Grohl scenario. We'd be out like searching for his version of a throne so he could go out and figure out how to play when he can't really stand. Stuff happens every day and we can't always be there to do the work. That's sort of the catch of being a freelancer. It's great to have work, but when the work requires you to be there to do it, and that's the only way you get paid, that becomes a problem. It means you can't scale, and it means if you have a life interruption, all the domino pieces start falling and life goes into chaos, right? So, Jay Simon, that's the one thing most experienced copyright freelancers can do in scale. Yeah, well, okay. It's not the one thing, but it is. Let's talk about that, Jay. You can create a course, certainly. That's one thing you can do. But there are other ways. One thing I want to help people do at this event here in Knoxville is not think that the only way to get paid more is by creating a course. Courses are great. But there are a lot of courses and they are not easy to put together. They take time. They can I've coached many people through this. But there's a way you can start even before it's time to make a course, Jay. And that is packaging up your service better than we do now. One thing we don't do well, I've noticed a lot as freelancers, and it's because we get stuck in the everyday, the doing the work, the meeting the deadlines, right? We don't offer our services or think about our services as offers, right? We don't package them up. And so I see a lot of people when we talk about undercharging and we talk about, everybody gets obsessed about, raising their fees. There's a process to raising your fees. You don't just say higher numbers. You just like you would for a client, you think through what is it you offer, you put it together as a package, and then you price it out just like you would say if you owned a restaurant, right? What would it cost you to put today's special, a plate of deliciousness down in front of somebody so that they would be happy to pay for it and leave you a great review, right? Like, what does it cost you to do that? What's your profit margin on that meal? What are some ways that you can over deliver and add in little happy surprises that people weren't expecting to add to the experience, right? How much of it do you have before you run out? Is it limited? Do you want to promote it as limited, right? All these things. I'll give you some examples. My friend and someone I coach and love working with is Brenna McGowan. I don't know if Brenna might even be here stopping by, but Brenna's amazingly talented. She's an incredible service provider, right? And so she started out as a copywriter, doing great work with good people, building her reputation, building her value. And then she did some projects, helped some clients with a launch. And she realized through guiding her clients through a launch, providing probably most of the copy for a launch, that a big problem with launches was that people weren't pre-launching properly. Yeah. So she started helping very organically people with their pre-launch because that's where the hole was in their launch plan. So this very naturally become a specialty of hers. She realizes, people just aren't thinking about pre-launch. They don't quite understand the value of pre-launch and all they can be doing to set themselves up for success when they do launch. And so she started experiment. She packaged up that service. We worked together to say, okay, what would be in your pre-launch package? What would you teach a client that they don't know now, that they're not doing now, to make sure that they had more success? And so it starts with you, like sitting and thinking through it. It would need to include this, this, and this, and this is how they get this, and they might need a writer for this, and maybe I would do this part. Maybe, you when you think of it that way, you have a choice. You can either sell this as a package you deliver, a done for you service, and when you start to price it out sort of as line items, it does two things. Number one, it makes you realize the value of everything you're offering, so you don't just play around with round numbers. Feels great for somebody to agree to pay you $15K, right? And you get that PayPal payment, and it's viscerally exciting. But oftentimes you look at the actual, effective hourly rate of what you're getting paid to do all that work. And now suddenly that excitement turns to like a sinking feeling of, I undercharge for this, and this is going to take up the next, 6 weeks of my life, and I'm obligated to it, and I can't do much else, and this is heavy. So first of all, it starts with thinking through, Jay, thinking through your services, right? Take your best client. If you've had, if you think about the clients you've had, what was great about it? What made you enjoy the work? What made you enjoy working with them? Were there any struggles, things that if they were a fantasy dream client, they would have done better? Maybe they drug their feet getting you some research material you needed, things like that, right? We have to think, again, like a restaurant owner would, about every single detail of how we deliver products, who we deliver them to, and what would make them the most qualified to work with us, because now they see us as a pro, right? And when you start to think of your business in offers, you're making an offer, you're offering a specialty service. Think about the people we know about in any world, anything we see on TV. We're talking about like HGTV, Food Network, things like that. They are all experts in a certain thing. They all have a specialty, right? Bobby Flay, he's the grill master, right? And he's not going to open a vegan restaurant anytime soon, but there are people who specialize in vegan recipes, right? Giada is the Italian specialist. She knows the best way to cook Italian, and so the special, there's a million chefs. There's probably a million chefs who would be better on TV than some of those people, but they didn't have the specialty. They weren't known. They didn't build their reputation on a certain thing. Okay. So the earlier in your freelancing journey that you start to think as a specialist, the better things are going to be. Okay. It helps you get to your best clients earlier. And again, it helps you build special knowledge that you can then package up and sell. And so if we just think of our service as an offer and we do the work behind the scenes to put the proper value on it, now we can very quickly start to identify who's a great fit, what's missing in their marketing that we can provide in a unique way, in a special way, right? So you see now how this works? Every gig we do stacks up on the next in contributing to the value you have to bring to the marketplace. And then you step out as a specialist and you educate your prospects and your peers about what you do and why you're one of the best at it. This is where you got to put some of that behind the scenes humbleness aside and just brag a little about the results you're getting. It done well, it doesn't come off as egotistical. It's educational if you're hoping other people do well with it. Exactly, Jay. Email specialist, right? And so, Jay, for instance, you could think about, okay, are you great at writing story-based email? And so you're very good with like creating a bond between an expert and their list, right? You can tell their stories. You can, write really great nurture and broadcast emails. Or maybe you're great at sales sequences. You know how to write a really good upsell sequence once somebody opts in, right? Maybe you're great at cart abandon emails. Find something in there. And the great thing, Jay, is if you're brand new and you haven't worked with a lot of clients yet, you get to study who's doing this well, who's not doing it well. I'll tell you one thing right here that keeps coming up a lot when with some of the freelancers I coach who are also email specialists. The biggest hole in the marketing world that I can see is welcome sequences. Welcome. It's hard to even get on lists and find good welcome sequences and onboarding sequences because I don't know why. It's just like the most overlooked thing that people leave out of their game. Sorry, my dog's freaking out because the um, lawn guys are here. Um, so um, so that's an idea of how to focus in as a specialist. And so Brenna's a great example. By the way, just to close that loop, Brenna is now known as a pre-launch specialist. She's not only offer this as a high-end service, she is now teaching it as a workshop, right? People come in, they pay good money to go through her curriculum, to get coached by her on how to do a great pre-launch. That's another option. So now she has super high priced, done for you, almost priced to the point where it's like, please don't make me do this, but if you really want me to do this and you're a great fit, this is how much it's going to cost. Well, you get to that point where you're almost like pricing yourself out of the gig. And now she's coaching it. She's already on her second round of offering the coaching program, and is in his, I hope she doesn't mind me saying, has raised the price, as you well should once you've done a beta, and is selling out those slots now at the higher price in advance. She hasn't even really started full on promoting it yet. And so that's what it looks like when you find your specialty and you think of it as a package. Hi, Alex. Good to see you. Yeah, darn long guy. They always come right. I should not book things at noon. They're like clockwork. They come at noon every time. And then Jesse, she's okay until the blower comes out, and then she freaks. Good. Well, I'm glad that's inspiring, Jay. Anyway, this is what I want to come on and share with you guys today. It's what's been on my mind. I spoke to another one of my Accelerator members yesterday. Accelerator is our ongoing coaching program. And she's been away because she was dealing with some personal health issues, and thank God she's feeling better and she's ready to get going again. And what was amazing in the sort of the 6 months that she was away and just sort of head down doing her work, taking care of herself, she was doing high level launch work. She was working through an agency and writing big launches, and she's now a comfortable expert in writing in launches. And so she has had a client on the side that and I'm like, well, tell me what you've been doing for them. She's written their entire launch. She first of all helped them come up with the product, produce the content, wrote all the collateral copy, right? I mean, all of it. And I'm like, what'd you charge for that? And she was kind of thinking, okay, what I charged this for that, and then that led to this, and so it was like incremental. Again, added up, way underpriced for providing basically somebody's entire product with the content and the marketing. And so not a problem. There's nothing to regret about what she charged, but the exciting thing is she now has the confidence, the wisdom, the knowledge, the blueprint for how to help somebody create an entire product and go sell that product. That is unbelievably valuable. And again, back to the original point, that is what's so exciting, that we get to the reason it's worth doing this freelance thing and doing it well, and suffering through the ups and the downs and the hard times. And some days you're going to feel beat up, and some days you're going to feel like a king or a queen. It's just like you can do no wrong. Every single part of the journey is you're going to get to double down on that later, right? It's not just, hey, I got paid and I made rent this month, made the mortgage, whatever. Not only does the money and the work get better, the value increases, and then you get to package that up. You know, it's exciting, man. It's exciting. I don't know any other thing like this. Let me show you something real quick. This is the timeline. Hopefully you can see this. So this is what I call the freelancer's journey timeline, and there's 7 phases. Okay, and 0 is where you don't know anything yet, and you're just wanting to not do whatever crappy job you're doing now because you don't love it. It doesn't fulfill you, and you want again, I think it's so courageous to want something better. Number 1 is finding the craft, the skill, and you just stalk that craft. You just go all in. You go deep on understanding it, how it works. How do you get paid for it? What skills do you need to develop? And then proving the model is number 2, where you start getting paid. You got some clients. You're getting in a flow. You're like, oh my God, it's really happening. I have the business. Number 3 is where you start to now say, okay, I can't get stuck just doing the same thing over and over and not getting paid more. So I've got to now set a standard for how I do this. This is what we've been talking about. Start to think of it. Okay, what's my specialty? Who's the best kind of client I can have? All the clients I've worked with, who was number 1? How do I model them? How do I repeat that and grow from there? Number 4, stabilizing, where now you don't have the peaks and valleys. You don't have the feast and famine phases, right? You're stable and things are good, and that's a major accomplishment, right? Everything's shored up. It's a business now. And then we start to think about scaling and leveraging. And this is where we are for this event in Knoxville. If you're in phase, say 4, 5, 6, 6 is where we go beyond client work. We're now so solid in our business. We're sought after. We're in demand. Our calendar stays full with gigs that we love to do. And now, you have to now, again, which is where I was telling you, like the last 4 years of my freelance career, I was sort of stuck in things are great, but what do I do now? And this is where you go beyond client work. You create partnerships. You create royalty agreements. You start to experiment with your own offers and things like that. You're not just getting paid to do the work now. Maybe you're starting to experiment with an agency model. And then 7 is building your legacy business, where you get like serious about building a real business. That's where I am now. It's a whole nother set of lessons. But that is the Roman is not who I was talking about today. Oh, are you tagging him? Roman, I've worked with Roman. Great guy, brilliant. And someone who's done this well. Everything we're talking about, Jay. Roman is a great example of that. And so that's how that works. And let me show you one other thing, just so we can put this in context. And then I will let you go about your Friday. I get excited. I get geeked out on this stuff. Just a couple examples. What does this look like when it happens? My buddy Mike Renard. These are all folks I've had the pleasure of working with, coaching. Mike, started as a copywriter, became known as a Facebook ad writing expert, then became also an ad manager, and then got to the point where he didn't need to manage the ads, go into Facebook and push all the buttons anymore. And so he just became a consultant, guiding his clients on how to write better ads and improve their Facebook campaigns. He's now the head of growth for a company that was basically his favorite client. He loved the culture there, and they basically made him an offer he can't refuse. And so now he has the best of both worlds. One scenario where, again, because he packaged his stuff up, because he became an expert, he was already consulting for them, had their trust, and decided to go deeper with them for really good money because he knew he would love it and get to play around in their lab with their marketing budget, right? Big marketing budget. And so now he has the best of both worlds. He's got steady work at great pay, and he still has his products that he can promote on the side. Fantastic, right? What's great about that is, um, when you have that leverage, you can adjust your business model to your lifestyle. Another reason that became such a great option for Mike at that time, because he was having his first baby, and that was going to be a major life change. He wanted to make sure he had plenty of time to be a dad and be a husband and be with his family, right? Uh, Chris Orzakowski, most of you probably know it. Just yeah, I've been working with Chris since he was still a high school teacher and wrestling coach, and now he is, one of the best known, and I personally think the smartest and most passionate email copywriting expert on the planet. His newsletter sits right behind me at all times. Make It Rain monthly. Here's one thing: like, if Chris only did this would be a brilliant way to take his wisdom and knowledge and package it up into a recurring revenue offer, right? He writes this one time every month, and it goes out to a few hundred people who all pay good money to receive this newsletter. Amazing on its own. But Chris is a nut and just is the kind of guy who's going to take over the world, right? He's like almost like a Gary V type. He's just on fire all the time, and he's a major action taker. Just had his second baby, by the way. So gets to chill out and take some time, welcome his second child into the world, and not have to. He has recurring revenue. It's not a problem. But Chris is only going to continue to do more things and make more offers, because that's how he is. Rachel Mazza has her own products, is an amazing expert on advertorials and warming cold traffic and optimizing funnels. I love working with Rachel so much that I invited her to be my partner in the company and help me grow it. And so she's dedicated most of her time to doing that with me, which pays handsomely, and she's invested in my business now. So she's helping, again, that partner model. She still has her own stuff on the side. She's 2-week vacation in Portugal right now, enjoying the fruits of her labor. Abby Woodcock, what an amazing story. She now decided that she didn't want to be a freelancer anymore, and she wanted to fulfill her dream of having a brick and mortar business. She now runs an amazing cheese shop in her hometown of Oneida, New York. Loves it, loves being that kind of business owner, and of course is innovating how you can sell such a product online for her own business, right? So those are just some quick examples of what that looks like when you see the value of what you do and start to package it up in different ways. So so there you go. And again, this is what we're doing in Knoxville. It's let me see my banners here. It is September 15th and 16th. And on the 14th, we're offering a special VIP day where if you are really ready to launch an offer and you're on fire about what you're offering and you want to just vet it and make sure you have every resource you need to get it live, get it optimized, right? And do it right. I'm going to sit down. You'll have access to me and my entire team at Copy Chief. This is what we do all day long. We launch offers, we optimize offers, right, at a pretty high level. And so you get to sit down for 30 minutes and essentially present your offer to us, and we will make sure you leave this event with every resource, every hole plugged, everything you need to have a really successful launch. There's only 6 of those spots available because we want to spend time and get to know everybody in that room and exactly what they're doing and help them that day and beyond. So that is an option you'll see there at copychief.com/Knoxville. Or you can just come to the 2-day event and leave there with the actual, we're not only, this is not, by the way, 2 days of people just presenting at you. We're going to leave a lot of time for question and answer, implementation. So everything you learned that morning, in the afternoon, we're going to sit down and structure it, put it together. We'll have, again, access to me and my entire team to think it through. You're going to leave there ready to launch this offer. You'll know exactly what kind of offer to make. You'll know exactly how to vet that offer to make sure that people want it before you start building it. How to position it in the market against the competition, all that stuff. Or if you're still freelancing and you don't necessarily want to put out your own offer, you'll know how to think of the service you're already providing as an offer and start to identify the best prospects for it and get paid the most for it, right? So that's what it's about. And if it's for you, I hope to see you there in Knoxville. It's very, very limited. There are only 25 seats available beyond the people who are already in my coaching program, and super limited, super intimate, plenty of space for everybody to breathe and stretch out and have elbow room. And if you're concerned at all about health safety, you won't be squeezed in a bunch of people. And again, you'll know if it's for you. Then if you have any questions about it, you can reach out to support@copychief.com and ask, and we'll get you set up. All right. So I hope this was helpful, Jay. It was nice meeting you. If I can ever be helpful, man, reach out. And I love freelancers. I love creative freelancers. I think it's special thing. And I want you to make sure you get paid the most you can in every way for what you do. We just have to recognize how valuable and rare it is. So appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.